How's it going, lads, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing something that's been intriguing me over the last few days. I've been wondering which system I prefer between last year and FIFA 17's monthly reward system or the weekly red player pick packs that we get this year for our essential untradeable reward for playing FUT Champs. If you don't know how it works already, then I don't understand what you're doing on this video. Essentially, every week we get player pick packs with red informs in for completing FUT Champs and finishing at a higher level. You get more players. You know, for gold you get 2, for elite you get 3, for top 100 you get 4, I believe, and for first in the world I think you get 5, but I'm not 100%. And the higher rewards, I've never seen them before. All right, I've never reached there, so I don't know 100%. Now, for the month of October, it's just gone, essentially. We've just finished the month of October. I would have finished in monthly rewards on 80 wins. Now, obviously this year we have had a EA have essentially reduced the amount of games per weekend by 25% and reduced the amount of the amount of wins needed for rewards by 20%. So, for example, last year Elite 3 used to be 29 wins with 40 games. This year it's 23 wins out of 30 games. We've seen a -6 game reduce in the amount of wins you need, and we've seen a -10 games. Essentially, you can kind of figure it out. It's not rocket science. However, I did some research into last year and how many wins you needed for Elite 3 monthly, and it was in fact a base minimum. This is for 160 games in the month. This is a month with 4 weekends. The base minimum amount of wins you needed was 97. So essentially, you pretty much needed to hit gold 1 every week, bar maybe 1 week where you could hit less. But that was the gist. You know, the gist was you hit gold 1 every week, you get Elite 3 monthly rewards. That was like the idea. Obviously, there's so many different. You could have gone 40-0 1 week and gone like 20 the next week, all right? I don't need to see that in the comments. We get it. Now, this year, what I did was I took the amount of games from last year and deducted it by, of course, 25%, meaning that we have 120 games per month this year, and the amount of wins deducted by, well, it was 19.4%. So 19%, 20% was 19.4 games. So we deducted it by 19 games to get it down to 78 wins. So 78 wins would essentially be Elite 3 monthly for this year. Now, for every weekend of October, I hit 20 wins exactly. Yep. I just kept hitting 20 wins. I just could not break the deadlock. However, I would have hit Elite 3 monthly. And I have my red cards that I take or have taken from FUT Champs monthly. From FUT Champs weekly rewards, the player pick essentially. I've got all 6 all 6 cards that I've taken. You're probably wondering, Ryan, there's 2 cards missing. There's 2 red informs that are missing. You're right, you're completely right. There is 2 red informs missing. Now, there were 2 informs that I actually used in an SBC, or 2 red cards I used in an SBC. They were an 81 rated Ukrainian midfielder and a 78 rated, I forget the player, I forget his name. It was a terrible player. So if you really want to add on the 2 players, there they are. But these are essentially the best cards we got. Now, last year, we would have got 12 red informs for monthlies. Now, they would have all been 81 or higher. However, there was no rating minimum and there was no choice. Now, this year we get 8 red monthly informs, essentially monthly informs, red informs. We get 8 of them. We get a choice out of a maximum possible 32. Now, of course, we do get the same players recurring, so that is only the maximum possible if every single player pick has every single player that you have not had the option to pick before. So it's 8 out of 32 essentially. But it really isn't. It's more like 8 out of, like, let's say, to be fair, it's more like 8 out of 20 because you do just see the same cards over and over again. But I wanted to go through and tell you what cards I picked and show you a comparison of my monthly rewards compared to Elite 3 monthly rewards from last year that I found on YouTube. I wanted to talk about them and give you my opinions on them, which system I prefer, which system is better, which system I think is more flawed, etc, etc. And I want to hear your opinions as well because I want this to be a conversation. So these are the best 6 red informs that I have taken over the month of October. We have Manolas, who actually is a very good inform to get. I was very lucky to get him. We also have Arnautovic, who again is a very decent one, and I'm lucky to have him. We have Vicino, who is meh. We have Alex Pato, who is another great one that I'm happy to have. We have Tonelli, and we have Demarta, and of course the 81 Ukrainian midfielder and the 78 rated poor player would be here. They aren't even relevant enough to talk about, honestly. So we have these 6 players. Now, I went and found a video from a YouTuber named The Bold Hooligan, If you guys want to check him out, feel free to do so. And he had Elite 3 FUT Champions rewards. Now, his best players were Otamendi Aspas, Fekir Brozovic, Pereira Lecomte, Malcolm Sorloth, Luis Alberto, Wagner, and Pereiro. Now, I believe there's maybe one more player hidden there, and we just can't see it. However, you get the idea. Now, judging, obviously, by the players, he has a higher average of players, but there is nowhere near a player of the caliber of Manolas, in my opinion. I think Manolas is one of the best centre-backs in the game at the minute. In terms of, you know, stats, ability, he's a very fantastic defender, and he's one player that I think a lot of people would very much like to have in their squad. Whereas when you look at his rewards, there's no real player to me that stands out as a desirable player. Maybe Fekir is desirable to an extent, but I don't think anyone's going to be rocking Otamendi in their FUT Champs squad. I don't think anyone's going to be rocking Aspas. I can't really see anyone rocking Fekir if those cards were red informed this year. However, Manolas and Arnautovic I have seen personally in very many FUT Champs squads. Same with Alex Pato, really. I could probably move him around. These three are the best players that I've packed. Now, I actually much prefer the system in FIFA 19 with the player picks. Now, one thing I think is a massive flaw is that if you picked a player, you can get him again. That is not so bad for like the Gold 2, Gold 3, Gold 1. But it's poor when you get to Elite 3, Elite 2, Elite 1, and then Top 100. It's very poor. And the reason I say it's very poor is because they have 4 or 5 player picks. So they have the chance of getting 3 players and then the last player pick being full of those 3 players and one other player, leaving you completely limited to pick out of 1 or 2 players. In my opinion, is a very poor design and a flaw in the concept. However, the power of choice is also very empowering when it comes to rewards. You get the choice of having a player that fits your squad, which I think is very much better. I know for a fact this guy probably did not want Otamendi, probably didn't want Aspas, probably didn't want Fekir or Brozovic. He's probably like, oh yeah, we'll take them. Probably didn't want them though, and I think that it's fair to say that they wouldn't want them because they're not the most desirable of players. However, if you give him a pack with Manolas, Arnautovic and Pato, he's probably going to be very excited and very happy to receive them, if that makes sense. So, in my opinion, FIFA 19 system is better. Now, I would love to hear your opinion on that down in the comments down below. This, of course, is a conversation, so please let me know, and I'll be replying to a bunch of you guys and discussing it with you. I would also like to point out a huge benefit is that if you can only play one weekend a month or one weekend every couple of months, you are not limited to getting bronze rewards, which was a massive thing last year. If you could only play 1 or 2 months or you missed out on a bunch of games, you were limited to awful monthly rewards, which kind of set a downer on the FUT Champs. Whereas if you're good enough to get Elite this year, but you can only play 1 weekend an entire month, you're not limited to getting silver rewards because you're good enough to get Elite but couldn't play the rest of your games. You do get the option of getting very good rewards and you're rewarded every single week with them, which in my opinion is way better of a system than last year. I just think that works better and that seems very positive to the players that don't have as much time. And I think EA have definitely taken the time this year to limit the amount of stress and limit the amount of time and expand time management for FUT Champs this year. If I was to summarize my thoughts and opinions, I would say this. I think that the red monthly reward system last year was quite decent. I think that there was I think the icon for top 100 was definitely more rewarding than it is this year of just getting the player picks. However, I think that this year, the ability to choose a player that fits squads definitely caters more to the player that isn't the best and maybe would like to use their red monthly, or sorry, I keep calling it monthly, their red reward player pick player a lot more than maybe a player that they just throw into SBCs. I know that last year, for most elite and up players, I'd say 90% of their pack, if they were lucky, 90% of their pack would be SBC cannon fodder. Whereas this year, you typically see most people that get between Gold and Elite 1 getting at least one player that is going to be a marquee player for their squad. Obviously, you see a lot of people getting absolutely shafted, and that is completely unfair for the amount of work it takes to get a good rank in FUT Champs. However, I think that this year, you know, I'd say I've been pretty averagely rewarded. Manolas is a standout player, of course. He's fantastic. He's a very good player to get, and I've been very lucky in getting Manolas. However, looking at people that have got 80 wins over the month, they have pretty similar rewards to me, getting 1 or 2 standout players, maybe in Manolas and Arnautovic, and the rest being fairly average, maybe a couple of meta players here or there. I think that is way more rewarding than last year's monthly FUT Champions, because last year you were kind of forced to play all 160 games to get the reward that may not even be that rewarding. However, this year, you could play 30 games and get a similar, if not better, stature reward than you would have got last year for 160 games. So, in my opinion, I think that playing 30 games a weekend and getting rewarded by that one weekend, as opposed to clumping it up into a monthly reward system, is probably better. I do think that like the red player pick packs need to be limited to players. Once you've already chosen a player, you need to remove that, and you cannot get him again. I also think that once you get like top 100 or elite, you should maybe get a rating minimum for at least one player in the player pick of maybe 84 plus, because seeing top 100 players getting 83 rated players in their player picks is painful to watch, because it's so unfair for such a high caliber of player. But that's just my opinion. Of course, EA might have dumbed it down or made it easier for the lower players to get better rewards to keep the game alive longevity wise, keep the poor players playing, which then pumps more life into the game, and of course more sales of FIFA points, more players playing, higher stock value, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of different benefits that more players playing could have. But I think that EA should probably try and cater more to the higher caliber players as well, because it's just not rewarding enough getting top 100, and a lot of people are going to lose interest in the weekend league if they're playing 30 games a weekend. They're getting maybe 24, 25 wins, and they're getting absolutely shafted in their rewards. I just don't think it's fair. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to hear your feedback. This is something that I've been planning for a little while. I had to do a little bit of research for the video, so that's why it didn't go live yesterday, which I planned on it. But, you know, of course, you guys did see Squad Battle Rewards yesterday, so it's not too bad. It isn't too bad at all. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate the support lately, and I'll see you lads later.